Welcome to Title Talk, a podcast for real estate investors where we cover tips, tricks, and trends in the industry.
This podcast is all about providing valuable insights to help you maximize your investment opportunities.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, Title Talk is the place to stay in the know and get inspired.
So grab your headphones, tune in, and let's talk title. Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Look who's back.
I'm back.
By
Sorry
popular
for those
demand.
who wanted Jamil today. You're stuck with me, but we'll have some fun. Okay? We'll have some fun.
Rahima is in the house today, guys, by popular demand and because Jamil's on a flight.
And
It's a twofer. It's a
Where's
twofer.
where's she going today? Do you know?
I don't.
Pennsylvania, Penn State.
Oh, nice.
They're going to teach a class in the afternoon, and the next day they're doing like some tailgating thing. Touring.
There you go.
It sounds fun. Well, I know tonight we're competing with the launch of the NFL season. So for those of you guys here with us instead of watching football, thank you.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you for wanting to make money instead of watching football. Just turn it off for like half an hour. Nothing will happen.
Yeah,
Nothing doesn't matter until the last 10 minutes anyways. Isn't that how football
exactly.
works?
Yes.
Forgive me, I don't know. I've never watched a game of football.
But in NFL tradition, why don't you guys write in the comments who you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year, just for fun?
Oh, who's going to win the Super Bowl? My daughter is here. Giella, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh, we got a Steelers fan in the house. I'm going for the Chiefs.
How about you?
Arizona Cardinals.
There you go.
Arizona Cardinals, Bobby. If I was a
I'm
betting woman,
I'm gonna say the Arizona Cardinals too.
I
because
hope
live
you're
here.
right. I hope you're right.
I live here and I think about what it would bring to the city in terms of all the fans and all the spirit and all the money that comes when your team is in the Super Bowl. I love that.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl this year is going to be in Las Vegas for the first time. They've never had a Super Bowl. So we're definitely going to have our friends from Vegas on again in Title Talk when we're closer to the Super Bowl to talk about that. So put your predictions for who's going to win this year, guys, in the comments. Broncos. We got Broncos fans. What else we got? Raiders.
Who's Jamil's fan? Who's he a fan of? St. Louis, I think. Isn't that right? The Saints. New Orleans Saints. Yeah.
Well, my vote's for the Chiefs.
Okay, there you go. Let's see
Bobby
what
is for the
happens.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, right here.
Raheem is for the Cardinals. So what's going on with you?
Tell me, what are we talking? Oh, well, what's going on with me? Is
Yeah.
we are putting our toes into new construction.
Okay, ground up.
Ground up.
Looking for land.
So we've managed to find a few lots. We've done a few of them already. We have a couple under our belt, and now we're doing more. Instead of just doing little infill houses, we're doing more like
Custom.
semi-custom, where it's like a spec home for us, right? We're gonna build it to what we think should sell in that neighborhood. South Mountain, which is a great neighborhood.
Yes. Great
Really
hiking
good-
too.
Yes, good price on these lots. I'm very, very excited. We finished Jamil's project where we turned a 3-2 into
The
a
pad
6-5.
split.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, for me, it's so much fun to go beyond just a regular flip, right? Oh, it's a nice house. And redo the bathrooms, redo the kitchen. It's fun. It's nice, but it's become boring for me. So when my brother gives me these opportunities to say, hey, can you turn this into that? And not just add a bunch of square footage, and it's fun
Yeah.
because it gives me an opportunity to really get outside the box.
So I love that you love to stretch yourself and that you're always growing. You know, I feel like the saying that says if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Absolutely.
So you're venturing out to finding land when
Mhm.
we're a pretty landlocked state, especially in town. How did you go about doing that?
Well, Jamil has somebody on Astro
Okay.
who reached out to he sent out a message saying, looking for land. I'm single family dwelling. I'm looking for land. I want it to have utilities up to the lot line, right? So that at least we're not digging for utility or bringing
Yep.
service into the area. And he had a guy who brought him 3. And we scooped him up that morning, sight unseen. I said, Jamil, I can be there in 45 minutes. And he goes, no, I'm going to sign them now and then just go.
Wow.
Right. So as I'm driving, I'm like nervous because I said to myself, okay, we would just spend 300 grand or over
Yeah.
300 grand. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I get there and I'm like, can you get the other 9? Because I see there's 9 more.
So are these in subdivisions that already exist?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is like such a ruby, right?
Yeah, that's very rare.
Rare.
Very rare.
And I say Ruby because I have a very good wholesaler friend named Ruby and her partner Jacqueline. They work together. And they came up with this beautiful, like a scrape for me. It's in Mesa. It's a 1 acre, just under an acre lot for a new build. So we just tied that up. So it's been a really good week for land.
Wow. And it's only Thursday and it was a short week.
It was perfect.
Wow.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were phenomenal.
Yay. All right. Give a shout out to Rahima for locking in land deals and stretching herself this week.
Yep.
Ground up development.
Yeah, I love it. It's, it's so different than renovations because you know exactly what you're getting.
Now you're going to be into more intense permitting.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to wear to the city?
Right?
What are you going to wear when you go down there?
Always get your hair done, people, before you go to the city. It doesn't hurt to show up with donuts and wear a jumpsuit.
Your jumpsuit looks a little different than most people's jumpsuits, though. Let's be
Wear
real.
something that looks good on you.
Yes.
Because when you look good, you feel good. Guys, I'm not saying this to be, chauvinistic. I'm honestly saying it to you because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you present yourself well. When you present yourself well, the person who you're talking to, the person you're looking to get something from, some information, some help, they're more apt to willing and to help you because you feel good and they can see that.
People sense that,
Yeah.
During COVID, I remember, when we're all in the lockdown, we did calls every morning with our team, that's video first phone calls to make sure they were still getting ready every day, putting makeup on every day, that they looked good, that they felt good, because that's when you're also the most productive.
Okay, here's an off topic question. Do you go to the hair salon?
Yes.
Often?
No,
No.
not very often.
So you don't have to dye your hair.
I do color my hair. It was actually, I just got it done this weekend. My hair guy's in Vegas and he's like, it's been 8 months since I colored your hair.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm like, well, it's probably partially in the artistry of what you do because the regrowth is good, but I'm not one of these people that likes going to the hair salon. I would prefer.
I love the hair
You do? You love it?
I would go every day. Every day. I love, especially because I really like the hair salon I go to, and I like the lady who does my hair, and I feel like it's therapy.
Yes.
It's a little bit of life coaching. I get my hair washed. Somebody else combs it for me. I don't know how to wash my own hair. I never have. Since I'm 18 years old, I always had a little part-time job in a hair salon. So I was able to, manage having my hair done. And I don't know. I don't have a brush, a comb, a hair dryer. I have none of those utensils.
So every day, like
I have my hair done. And when it starts to look ratty, I go back to the salon.
You go back. Wow.
I put a ponytail in it. And then the next day I go back to the salon. Yep.
That's
me.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
So my hair guy in Vegas, his name is Rondell. And we had a great conversation this last Sunday. It's a holiday weekend. So it's like an easy thing, go to Vegas, get your hair done. And found out he actually was getting more into fix and flips. He's got one investment property.
Okay.
He follows Pace a little bit on social media, and he's never really understood the wholesale game. And he's like, I don't know about this, what would be the benefit? And, we talked about that pretty in depth. And he texted me this morning. He's like, I listened to Title Talk. Wholesaling is the bomb. I'm totally going to get involved in the Astro community because what you said on Title Talk makes so much sense, which is kind of fun.
Rondell, if you're watching today, you should check me out because I'll teach you how to flip those houses to be even better than what you're doing now.
See, there's multiple ways to make money in this business. And that's, I think, what's so fun about the investment space. Like there's no one exit strategy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are we talking about?
Well, we wanted to figure out what was going on with you lately. And then we got on the subject of hair.
I mean, if you give me 5 minutes to talk about it, I'm going to talk to you about my fashion, hair, and teeth. I'm all about teeth.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Fashion, hair, and teeth.
That's it. I have 3 conversations. Fashion, hair, and teeth.
Well, I love all those subjects. I'm not sure I know that much about teeth other than It's important to go to the
You
dentist.
have good teeth.
And, you know,
It's the first
I had
thing I notice
braces.
about people.
I had braces when I was young. Thank you, my mom and dad. My mom's probably watching today.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama. I think Rondell might be off work today, so maybe he's tuning in.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, that's kind of fun though.
Okay.
So we've got a couple of fun things happening. I wanted to give a couple shout outs today. One of them is to my friend Glenn, who is part of the Astro family. He's at every Keighley meetup. He's at all the House of Viking meetups. He's totally a good networker. He has been doing this thing on Instagram and documenting it. 90 days of cold calling.
Okay.
Today, I believe, is day 89.
Okay.
And that is when the magic happened. He got his first 2 wholesale deals under contract officially. So,
Shout out.
yep, shout out to Glenn.
Never give up.
Nope. And it's been fun to watch because he's describing the challenges, right? So you have days where you're just on the phone for hours and nothing's happening. And you want to get defeated and you feel like, I'm going to give up. This business sucks, you know, and you just want to kind of throw in the towel. And so really the number one lesson that he's been sharing is consistency is the key, which I totally agree with. What do you think?
Absolutely. 100%.
And learning the different exit strategies too, you know, figuring out how to take the highest and best use of the property given the situation and what the sellers need as well. So shout out to you, Glenn. I know you've got a lot of friends in the community and on social media that are probably giving you mad props, but excited for you to have your first 2 deals officially. And yeah, he's getting a lot of love actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Keep going. Just keep going.
And then somebody else I think you guys should follow is Dana Tingle. So for all you ladies, since we're talking lady stuff, she has a really cool group on social media called the Real Estate Alliance for Ladies Networking. The Real Group, REAL. They are doing some really fantastic stuff, providing a ton of resources and networking for women in the space across the country. So Dana, if you're watching, keep it up. I got to meet you virtually through Title Talk and you reached out to me. So it's been fun to kind of watch what you're doing on social media. So I wanted to give you some props on that side too.
Where's Dana located?
I don't remember where she lives.
Where does she live?
I think it's back east somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should bring you out here, Dana. We want
Yeah.
to meet you. Come to Phoenix.
We
The
love-
weather here is going to be really good in about 2 weeks.
And we love fabulous ladies.
Speaking of fabulous, I love all the bling on you.
Oh, thanks. It's a subtle day. Just little pearls, just a little
Just
things.
a little Chanel,
Just a
just
little-
a little diamond, just
Yeah,
a little,
just a little.
Look at her. I have
I
my
don't
plastic
know.
ring on. That's like the extent of my jewelry today. It's my plastic aura ring.
Does that work for you? I use the Fitbit. I've never used the Aura. What's the difference?
So
Do you know?
this really the only 2 metrics I really measure are how many steps I got and how much sleep did I get. That's all I really care about.
I care about my sleep the most.
But the thing is that look how light it is.
Hmm.
And so I wear it in the shower. It weighs nothing.
It weighs nothing.
I charge it like once a week for 15 minutes. So I don't have to charge it every night.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Or a ring. Shout
Oura
out.
ring.
Maybe they
Shout
want to
out.
sponsor.
Yeah, I love that because I've had one on my hand for years now. So now, yes.
Yeah. What's
Shout
happening
outs.
with you on any title things that you've had encounters with lately? Anything weird that you've seen?
No, everything's been really good with title. I've had no issues with any of my deals. It's been wonderful.
Well, last time you were on, we were talking about earnest money.
Yes.
And what a struggle it is right now. So in our market, it's extremely competitive, guys. And people are literally like racing
Yep.
to get EMD over to title. But what's happening, and this is kind of where some education I wanted to talk about today, is we're getting earnest money without any contracts or communication, which can't
people
happen.
just drop-
People are just bringing checks
so let
and
me-
we don't know what they're for.
So let me ask you a question. Can a seller have multiple people sign a contract and then make it a survival race to title? Can he go under contract with multiple people and say whoever drops off EM first wins?
If it's in the contract, I mean,
So he could put an addendum.
I don't
in
think
there that
anybody
says,
would do that because they don't want to cause car accidents. So that's kind of wild.
multiple people have signed this contract. Now it's whoever gets EM in first wins.
I mean, if they all agree in writing, it wouldn't.
It would
I
be
don't.
okay.
I think so.
Wow, that's a strategy.
But it's But what I want to tell people is, guys, pick up the phone and call the office that you're going to go into if you don't have your contract executed yet, so they know what the money's for, because they're like having random people take the money and they don't know what it's for. We don't know what it's for. We just have to wait for somebody to call us and tell us what the money was for.
Right, so they're not writing the
They're
address.
not writing the address. They're not writing anything.
Let me just drop off random bits. Anybody bring bags of cash yet?
Not yet. Cashier's checks.
Do you take cash?
Yeah, I think so.
You
think
do?
we can take cash.
Can you buy a house in cash?
You can buy. Well, usually people wire that much cash.
But could you, if somebody walked in with like a garbage bag full of cash?
I don't know.
I
don't know if we could do that or not.
Don't know?
I think there's a limit. I think there's a threshold.
Okay.
But I think we definitely prefer wire or cashier's checks.
Sure. I understand what you prefer.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if we can.
Mattress money.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Mattress money.
Mattress money. Exactly. Yeah.
But that's kind of wild. So, I mean, I think because our market is so competitive, that's what people are just thinking, oh, if they drop this off first, but we can't, if we don't have anything to document it with, we don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So we're actually going to be doing a class coming up in October for Arizona investors, specifically on some title nuances that we're seeing here, and let you guys ask all your questions live in a Zoom. So more info on that to come, but Jamil and I are going to be doing that with Jody, who works on your guys' files in October. So that should be fun.
It's amazing that you brought this up with the race to title and these multiple checks being dropped off. This is October. So a year ago, it was like crickets.
Yeah. And then December happened and that was weird.
And then it just went bananas again.
Yeah. And normally like December is a slower month for us.
Right.
But December just freaking skyrocketed.
Last December.
So we slowed down about this time, just like, contracts are slowing down here right now. But surprisingly, we just had an influx of 1,000 new properties hit the market, which is good. So those are up. But yeah, we did have a dip in like September, October, November, and then December things went through the roof.
Are these for new builds or
all,
do you remember?
Just all contracts, all sectors.
Okay. Guys, those of you who are flipping houses or wholesaling houses, if you could let us know, like, how is your September looking so far? How did you finish off in August? And do you have good deals coming in that are going to close in October? Like, what is the state of the market and where you are? I would love to know.
Yeah. And put the location in there too. That would be really nice to see what's happening around the country.
Right.
I mean, we can track things on like a national data perspective, but a lot of the investor stuff happens like kind of stealth mode, right?
Yeah,
so
it's like behind the scenes.
It's like behind the scenes. So we can only see it when it hits the recorder.
I feel like we're the staging, right? We're like the room where everything happens, and then like what gets shown into the real world is what they think is reality, but we sort of dictate what's happening in real estate kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah. And so normally when you do your flips, you stage everything, you make everything beautiful to market.
I do. I do. I have always done it. Even when the market didn't call for staging, I staged.
Because you're proud of your product, right?
Well, it's for a few things. One of the things is I believe that buyers have a hard time visualizing, and sometimes they need that visual. I also believe, because I want to provide somewhat of a neutral product, I don't put a lot of my own personal flair into a house, because I want anybody to want the house, that adding pops of color is going to attract them when they're looking on it at MLS.
Okay. That makes tons of sense.
Right. And then also people travel in America. And so you don't necessarily have family coming to check your house. So you're sending pictures to friends and family about, hey, check out this house I like. And it could be something as crazy as a placement of a plant, or a pop of a yellow pillow, or something that people's eyes gravitate to. And that makes them want to buy that house. So for staging, for me, has many different things. And I never destage a house until the appraisal is done.
Oh, that's a really good tip. Oh my goodness.
Never, ever, ever destage a house before your appraisal's done. You want to know why? Because appraisers are people, not bots. When you go in for when your appraisal happens, so this is how I handle it. I let the buyer's agent know, hey, can you let me know when the appraisal is happening? I want to make sure there's a key in the armless. That's for sure they're going to call you.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want the appraiser to go down there and there's no key. Oh, yes, for sure. So I get a notification, appraisal's going to happen on this day between this time. Beautiful. I go in a few hours before. I make sure there's cold water in the fridge. I make sure that the AC has been turned on because this is Arizona. We don't necessarily keep the houses at 69 for my brother and Bobby all day long when there's nobody in the property. You know, we could set it at 78 or 80. So I make sure that the AC is kicked on. There's cold water in the fridge. And I simply text the appraiser, hey, I've left some comps on the counter for you and a list of the renovations and the total cost spent by the seller. That's it. You know, I'm not stepping over the line. I'm not trying to guide you to go one way or the other. I'm just giving you information. This is what we did. This is what comps are. And there's cold water in the fridge. Help yourself.
You've already made a friend.
That's it. And if I don't give them somewhere to sit, I'm not a very nice person. And when you don't have your property staged, there's nowhere to sit.
You're right.
So now there's a place to sit and the place looks like a home and it
feels good.
It's subjective. And sometimes $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 can be lost on a house that's not staged. So stage your houses for photos and then make sure it stays staged until the appraisal is done.
That is such good advice, Rahima. And I agree with Joe. Hit the like button, guys, because this is priceless. And she just gave away 4 really good tips to help you get your home appraised. I have a friend right now that is actually doing new construction, and his appraisal comes back Friday, and he's on pins and needles because he's going to be the first comp in the neighborhood. And he fell in love with the house. But if it doesn't appraise, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a problem for the seller, and it's a problem for the buyer because the seller, Jamil and I had a property about 16 months ago when the market was crazy, and we priced it very high based on a view. So my brothers will always tell you a view could be worth $100,000. So we listed this house $100,000 higher than any of the comps because of its view. It had beautiful city view.
Well, that's why you pay premiums for lots that have a view when you're doing new construction.
Exactly. So, but $100,000.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
And the first appraiser didn't
like it.
They didn't like it. He said, "No, I'm not giving you that $100,000 for the view." And so we said to the buyer, "Either you come up with the difference or walk." And he walked because he said, "No, I can't come up with a difference," which is fine. So we put it back on the market, and the next appraiser said, "Yeah, I see it." So they're subjective, guys. I mean, yes, comps make a difference. Absolutely. I can't tell you that a comp doesn't make a difference, but there is a human element to an appraiser. It's not a computer. If it was a computer, it wouldn't matter if you staged the property or if it was 100 degrees in there because it's a computer. They're just running stats.
Yep.
But that's not the case. The case is that the person who came to visit the house is a human being. They breathe, they're comfortable, they're uncomfortable, all those things happen to them. And they want as much information as you can provide to them so that they can give you a fair appraisal.
Well, and at the end of the day, like if they're uncomfortable because they've got nowhere to sit or it's totally hot, like it's going to affect their mood and their feeling, which affects everything about your outcome.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, make sure that you stay and make sure that the landscaping is done.
Front and back?
Front and back, guys. Make sure this is almost like a new buyer is coming because this human being is to decide what that house is worth. So make sure the landscaper showed up the day before. Make sure for those of you who live in cities where there's snow, make sure that the pathway is cleared, that he's not, having to walk through,
juggle
or just be cognizant of a human being coming to visit your property that you've got on the market and you want to give it its best, the best ability to be appraised at the highest possible price.
What's the first impression?
Absolutely.
For the end result.
Absolutely. 100%. So guys, be careful. It's not over just because you have a contract signed.
No,
it's not over till that appraiser. And sometimes if it's FHA, the appraiser is also an inspector. Do you know that? If your buyer is buying that property at 3.5% down, that appraiser also is an inspector. So he's going to be checking the roof. He's going to be checking the water heater. He's going to be checking the temperature relief valve. He's going to be checking the appliances. He's going to be checking the HVAC. He's going to be checking for defects in the house, because although the buyer had their own inspection done, he's coming back and saying, wait, I work for the bank, the lender. And as the lender, he doesn't want to lend on a property that has these material defects. So be careful. Make sure that if something showed up on the inspection, the roof, the HVAC, some flooring issue, if you don't have a guardrail where there's a step down, guys, in Arizona, for some reason, all the builders in 1970 gave everybody a sunken living room.
Yes.
Well, that step down now is causing problems, because if you're FHA and you have a step down, you need to have a guardrail.
That would look ugly.
Yes, but even if that guardrail is only this big, you need to provide it.
And then do you just rip it off after you close?
I don't. I say to the seller, to the buyer, it's completely up to you. I'm doing it to be compliant. If you want to get rid of it when you're done, I mean, let's be honest, I don't do that. I fill in the floor. But yes, if I was in a situation where the appraiser told me to do it or the inspector told me to do it, I leave it, and then it's up to the next buyer to say, I'm going to take it down or not, because it's a safety issue, right? And the last thing anybody wants is to be sued in the end. But that 3.5%, if you don't have those inspection things fixed before the appraiser, they can come back, and then he has to come back again, which is going to slow down your closing.
And does it cost more money?
It does.
Yeah.
You have to then pick up that bill, and because the buyer's going to be like, why am I paying him again? Why didn't you have these things fixed? So you have to be really cognizant on what needs to be done when, in what order, when you are the seller of a property.
And especially on FHA, because if you know that buyer has a loan that's an FHA loan, it sticks with the property. So that buyer may elect to cancel, but that appraisal still is attached to the property for a significant amount of time. So
3 months.
90 days.
90 days. Guys, did you hear that?
90 days.
You don't like the appraisal that came back. It's 20 grand under what your list is. But now your buyer decided to walk. You're stuck with that appraisal. You're stuck with it. It's in the system. Now, the only financing you can take after that is conventional.
Or cash.
You're stuck. So don't make the mistake of treating an FHA buyer. You have to do it. You have to treat them with kid gloves. You have to make sure that property is perfect for inspection and appraisal.
That's a nugget. Because if you imagine, our market today doesn't look the same that it will in 3 months either. So you could also be risking the market price going down.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, that could be another
3 months
issue.
of holding costs. For example, 3 months in September, now you're in Christmas. Good luck selling your house in December. It's not easy.
It's hard.
Nobody's thinking about buying real estate in December. They're not thinking about buying real estate in January because they got bills. It doesn't open up again until February. So imagine if you lost that particular buyer, or you have to eat the difference in list. You have to eat the difference between the list price, and that could very well be your profit.
And that profit is what you're using to go get the next deal.
Right. And to keep your engine running.
Yep.
So be very, 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 very comfortable and cognizant on what you're doing when it comes to your appraisals, your inspections, what type of financing is involved. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Sometimes I feel like my first offer is not the offer. It's the offer I take just so I can see the inspection report.
Ooh.
It doesn't. I just want to see the inspection report.
So that what has to be adjusted early in the process, and you don't lose days on market.
Exactly.
Okay, that totally makes sense to me.
I mean, I may or may not elect to cancel, but I just want to see what the inspection report looks like. I want to see what I missed. If I missed anything.
Do you miss anything?
Sometimes up in the attic, I miss stuff.
Okay.
The previous owner could have
ghosts.
Cut something.
We're talking ghosts again.
They could have cut a rafter, and now the guy's asking for a structural engineer. Whereas I know that if I just sandwich that rafter for the next inspection, I'm not going to have the same issue. But now that this happened, I have a big problem.
And unlike the FHA appraisal, the inspection doesn't stick with the property.
Right. The inspection, guys, the inspection that the buyer pays for does not stick with the property. You as the seller need to disclose if you haven't fixed something. Okay. So you got the list, fix it before the next inspection. Otherwise you have to disclose it.
Really good advice. Guys, if you're loving this and Rahima's amazing advice, please share, send the love so other people can listen too.
Matthew, what's Matthew saying? Facts. All agents could wholesale on the side. Yeah. Facts. That's
Agents
true.
are mad is what they're talking about.
Oh, right. Oh, they're upset because agents are getting upset with wholesalers.
Yeah.
Why? Why doesn't everybody just jump in that bandwagon and understand that that's the way real estate is done now? It's like people getting mad. I don't want to get involved in social media, so I'm just going to ignore it. Well, that's not going to work.
It's not going to fix it.
I don't want a cell phone, so I'm not going to get one. Okay, so stay home with your rotary and see what happens. You have to progress, guys. This is the future. So get in with us and let's take the ride together.
Well, and honestly, there are so many more options available to a real estate agent going into a listing appointment if they know all of the potential strategies,
Right.
because they have relationships with wholesalers and creative finance people and
So let me ask you this. These agents that are mad, they walk into a listing appointment and they can see that there are glaring issues in the property. When I say glaring, I'm not talking about the flooring is the wrong color or the walls are brown. Nobody cares about that. Glaring issues are there's definitely stains in the ceiling that indicate
there's water dripping.
Right? Or the HVAC, you can see that the HVAC is not
Garage
working.
is flooded.
The garage is flooded. There's drywall cut out in certain areas because they had a flood.
Yeah.
Right?
You hear weird noises.
Right.
Lights aren't working. Electricity doesn't turn on.
Or you can see it's a handyman's job when it comes to electrical. So you see wires everywhere. Guys, the bank is not going to loan on that house. So even if you find a buyer, a conventional buyer, an FHA buyer, their financing is not going to go through. So if you don't have another alternative for that seller to be able to sell his house, you just lost. But if you were to say, hey, look, I'm not going to be able to market your property the way it is because banks aren't going to loan on it. But I have an option for you. I can get you out of this. Let's figure out what that price is that makes it work for you, and I'll see what I can do. You're giving that seller an option. You're not the big bad wolf. You're giving them an option on a property that wouldn't sell otherwise. You have to remember that. You're the hero.
Absolutely. And as the fiduciary, don't you want your seller to have every option possible so that they can choose what's best for them? Oftentimes somebody will choose cash and convenience versus going to market. But if you aren't the one to tell them that they have that option, they may just list with somebody else.
Yep. Or somebody who had the information to give them. Guys, you wholesalers that are out there, you're the heroes. Remember that every day. You're the heroes. You're painted out as something that you're not. You are the heroes.
As long as you're acting ethically.
Yes.
In your practices, because
Yes.
there are a few that I think have given wholesalers that do the right thing a bad rep a little bit.
But that's in
right?
every industry.
It's in every industry.
Every single industry from, I'm going to tell you a story, from mechanics to realtors have a few bad apples. And I'm going to tell you a funny story about my daughter. My daughter.
Oh, she's sitting
beautiful
right
daughter
here. She is so
Come say
pretty.
hi.
Come say
Come
hi.
For
We
those
have a
of you
special
who have noticed
guest.
that my social media has gone up. it's
Yes.
because of my daughter. She's been doing my social media. Hi.
I was
DL.
gonna ask
Give me a
you.
kiss. Give me a kiss. Mwah.
I was going to ask you, what is going on with your social?
That's her.
Because
That's all
every
her.
day
Yeah.
I see new videos
Mhm.
and they're educational and fun.
She does all the content creation, the whole thing. So this little girl of mine has a car. And I say to her a few times, honey, have you serviced your car? Yeah. I'm sure I have. Okay. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make an appointment right now. So we find out there's nails in the tires. The tires all need to be replaced.
There's probably oil hasn't been changed in a year.
It's never been changed in 60,000 miles, 40,000 miles.
That was 40,000 miles over service.
So now we have to
40,000 miles over service total.
So we have to clean out the whole engine now, right? Because that's the problem. It's like this viscous, this thick liquid,
Muddy.
sediment is like running through her engines. And so she's like, no, the mechanic is a thief. The mechanic is a thief. The mechanic is just telling you the truth. This needs to happen in order for the car to run. Wholesalers are just telling you the truth. It's not going to work in a conventional sale. You're going to have to get rid of it. Somebody's going to have to come and fix it. And then they're going to be able to put it on the retail market. That's it. They're just giving information.
I wish I had a drum roll for that. Do we have a sound effects, Bobby?
There you go. There you go. You know, there's bad apples everywhere, and I'm not suggesting you ever be a bad apple.
No.
You have to be ethical because it'll come back and bite you in the butt if you're not. And you'll feel bad and you won't feel good.
You got to sleep at night by doing the right thing by people.
Just do the right thing, but don't diminish what you do because you give people an option where there's no other option.
Well, and your reputation is everything in this business, because for every good person who you serve, you should be able to generate 3 to 5 more referrals.
Yep.
Because you've earned the right to ask.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And I think that's part of what makes Jamil so successful is that those relationships. He builds one, and then 6 more come.
Yep.
Because of the way he treated the one.
Yep.
So remember that. And when you're dealing with people, the way that you treat this one person they're going to tell 6 more people. They're either going to tell 6 more people that you were awesome, or they're going to tell 6 more people to run away from you.
What did
Right?
Matthew say? I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, more people are going to tell everybody about negative experiences than positive ones. Why do you think Yelp is so popular? Because people like to, write nasty things when they have a bad experience. It's not often that they're going to give a 5-star review. It's they want a place to go vent. And they're more likely to vent than say they had a great experience.
Right. But I always give 5 stars. I tell the people if something's wrong.
Yes.
I tell the public if something's great.
I'm 100%. I only give Yelp reviews that are 5 stars.
Right.
When they've done something right.
Right.
But that's not normal.
Right.
Like
No,
we're not normal.
Not normal.
Not normal. You're hearing it first on Title Talk. We're not normal. We are not normal, and we are okay with that. We are
Yep.
very comfortable in our own skin about it. And I kind of love that about us.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wants to be normal? Normal's overrated.
Okay, so staging.
Yes.
Now
this
that
whole conversation
yeah,
started
this
with
it started with staging. So with your new construction, I'm
Yes.
assuming you're going to want to pre-sell if possible. And you
No,
might have a buyer at the end. You want to wait till the end?
I like till the end. I want to see the frenzy. I want to get it all gussied
So kind of
up.
like the show.
Yeah.
So
I want to
you don't
gussy it up,
Okay.
and I want to let the games begin.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there is a huge marketing strategy in that, though, because it's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're creating the frenzy, like what you guys did on the show,
Right.
I mean, you're going to have more eyeballs, more feedback, more opportunity. And then there's competition.
Yes.
And with competition, people usually level up, right? You don't want to be the person that's surrounded by people that are just doing less than you, right?
Oh no.
You always want to be in a room with people that are doing more than you, because that's how you grow. It's amazing to me what happens when people change companies, change environments, change real estate brokerages, change investor groups. When they go from somebody that's in this little small bubble to a bigger, more
more fish in that
more
pond.
fish in that
Yeah.
pond, and the production expectation just goes higher.
Right, because we only go as far as we'll push ourselves, right?
And you're only going to push yourself as far as the people around you.
Exactly. So if you walk into a room and where everybody's your fan, you get to relax. But when you walk into a room where you have to let them know who you are,
Yep.
and you've got people who you kind of you're like fanning over, then you work more.
Yep.
You work harder.
Well, the bar's set higher.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's allergic to us.
I was pumping up my head. No
Yeah.
sneezing.
No sneezing. Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. Bobby just had a sneeze, and we thought he was allergic to us.
2 things can be true.
2 things could be true.
Oh, that was funny, Bobby. You're
Oh, funny Bobby
Okay,
showed up
funny
today.
Bobby today,
Maybe it's
yeah.
because Jamil's not here. He's got to be telling all the jokes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any competition in the joke department, really. So if you're going to wait till the end, are you going to let people have the option of buying it fully staged?
No, I never sell my
No.
furniture.
Okay.
It's just too hard. It's too hard to go buy more furniture. I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to that. You know, I like to buy the really good pieces, and then I hire a truck. I hire the people. They bring it. They take it back. What I like to do is take it from one house to the next house.
All the time? Do they always fit?
Yeah, generally
Okay.
I make it work because I buy pieces that are going to work in all the different properties without too much difficulty.
Thank you for the feedback. Is it Andrea?
Hi, Andrea.
We love it when people tell us good info. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So what did we learn? We learned stage your house and
And we-
keep it staged until after appraisal.
And how to get your home the highest value for an appraisal. And
Because
also,
it's not a bot.
it's
a
not a
person,
bot.
right?
It's a human.
It's a human. So when a human has to make a decision, keep the human comfortable.
Well, I think about it like you're having somebody over to your home, like for Thanksgiving, right? You want them to feel good when they walk in.
Right.
It's
yeah.
basic.
Do you cook Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, no. I have a mom that is really great at either doing most of that or making reservations.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
good at reservations. Jamil's wife, Natalie, makes a killer Thanksgiving dinner.
Does she? I'm always in
Beautiful.
charge of dessert.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm like, if Natalie's inviting us for Thanksgiving, I'm always.
Are you
in.
not always invited?
No, they're not always here. They
Oh,
travel.
yes, yes,
They've got
yes.
family everywhere. So when we do get them in town and she's cooking, I'm here. I'm here like having not eaten at least 24 hours. So I'm like ravaged by the time I get here.
So I'm in charge of desserts, games, no surprise there, and costumes
Costumes?
if they are required
For
for
Thanksgiving?
Yep. mhm.
I want to hear about this. What is the best costume that you think you wore to a Thanksgiving dinner?
A turkey tutu. So it was like looked like there was definitely a turkey thing going on, little brown t-shirt. But one of the best hats I ever got was that turkey drumstick thing where it's like literally you're wearing like a turkey on the head
Do you have
with
any
the
pictures in your phone you can share
Oh,
with us?
probably. Well, I might be able to put them in the comments later.
Yeah, please
but
do
people
that.
took turns with the hat.
Okay. The
They-
drumstick hat.
Yeah, the drumstick hat. We put them on the babies. We put them on the boys. Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas can be just as fun with
Do
costumes.
you do costumes? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like ugly sweater.
Oh yeah,
Christmases,
ugly
you do
sweater
those too?
sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we do ugly sweater, but sometimes people think that's played out. So I
Okay.
have to come up with other things. Like one year we did a white thing
Okay.
where it's like a white Christmas theme, everybody being all white. That was kind of
Okay.
cool.
Because it's not white outside.
It's not white
Arizona.
outside here.
It's just dusty.
No, but I stay in my lane. I do whatever my mom tells me and I bring the fun.
Diala, did you hear that? Stay in your lane and do whatever your mom tells you. You'll be as successful as Dina. What
By
is
the-
that? Stay in your lane and do whatever your mom tells you.
And if she puts me in charge of something food related, she tells me to make it at my house. So usually for Thanksgiving, I'm pumpkin cheesecakes. She doesn't want me in her.
Oh,
She does not want me in her kitchen.
I want a piece of pumpkin cheesecake. That
I could
sounds
put you on my
good.
pumpkin cheesecake list.
Okay, please do.
Yeah,
Please do.
I learned how to bake before I learned how to cook. So
I learned how to do none of that. My daughter is a phenomenal cook. So is my mom.
What
so I
is-
just get to eat with them.
your favorite thing that she makes?
Oh, she made it for me yesterday. She made me braised short ribs, the big
Wow.
ones, red wine braised, with these potatoes that had like garlic and Boursin cheese, and they were emulsified. It was delicious.
That's fancy. That's
my
not just
God.
like a
Oh,
basic.
yeah, no. She's nothing about hers. Look at her.
I know.
She's nothing about hers basic.
She came in tonight with a really fabulous vintage Gucci purse. Kind of a fan.
Yeah. She's not basic.
Oh, my
No
mom is
basic.
on here making comments.
Hi, Mama.
My mom says Dina is the party designer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at her. Look at her. You did well. You did well. She's fantastic. Good job, Mama.
Yeah. Well, she's still working on it.
What else we got on your list?
What else we got on my list? Okay, couple things.
Yes.
Some deed fraud stuff. So
Okay.
just I like to be in the moment with you guys and tell you what we're seeing, and give you advice on how to avoid falling into these traps, right? So right now in Arizona and actually nationwide, this has been an issue with our company nationally. Free and clear property is a big risk. So I am getting a lot of investors reach out to me and ask me for vacant land lead lists, right? So we provide a lot of data. We help with market research on all kinds of things, and people are asking for vacant land. So that is the biggest piece of fraudulent transactions.
Like what I'm asking for, like
Yeah,
vacant land. Okay.
Yeah, but
What's happening with it?
well, you're doing it a little different than what's happening other places,
Okay.
but fraudsters are pretending that they own, the land, and they're literally trying to go close at title, and they don't have any right or any real contract. Mhm.
Think about that. So if you were fraudulently trying to sell a house, that house would have to be vacant.
Yes,
That house would have to have like
humans,
so that it's harder to do that.
right?
But vacant land, I mean, nobody even thinks of if they've got a lot here or there, or they own a parcel, they don't think about it.
Right,
So they're not continually checking.
right. So just know if you're doing a transaction in vacant land, it's happening, right? So there are a lot of good things happening in vacant land too, but there's going to probably be some extra steps that you're going to go through on the title side. So they're going to ask for verification, right? So if you're actually from a seller, they're going to make sure that they always talk to the seller, that we're sending physical letters to the seller, property owner of record, notifying them that, hey, by the way, we have an open escrow from you. Please let us know that it is your intent to sell this property. And the letter language is getting stronger as this keeps happening all over the place. But just know, guys, if you are doing vacant land, there's probably going to be a couple other questions that you're asked at title about the relationship potentially. We talked about on Title Talk a few episodes ago that we ended up with a transaction between Fidelity and Keegley where we found something squirrely, not because anybody necessarily on either one of those sides was doing something, but somebody had approached Keegley to sell land that they didn't own. So we figured it out early in the game, and we had to resign from the transaction, but it's happening. It's totally out there. A tip for you guys, especially because you're going seller direct, in this particular case, people were asking for vacant land. So you probably, this might not have been the case, but asking if you're approaching a seller, like make sure they actually own the property. The quit claim deeds that they're recording by themselves outside of escrow, probably not proof.
Right. Yeah. So then you need to give yourself enough time to close that transaction.
100%.
For title to be able to guys, think about this. If you're not giving title enough time to do all their fiduciary duty, then the deal's not going to go through.
Nope.
And if it does go through and there happens to be a problem after the fact, you have a bigger problem on your hands. So make sure that you give yourself at least 30 days to close?
Yeah. I mean, if there's no financing involved, if there's financing involved, then ask the lender,
Right.
tack on whatever additional time that they need.
Right. But
Yeah.
30 days minimum.
Yeah.
Even if it's cash. Guys,
Absolutely.
hear that. 30 days minimum, even if it's cash, because there's a lot of fraud going on with vacant land.
And make sure you're telling your sellers too that it's important that they talk to title and that they tell title that they want to sell to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of basic, but it's really not. And we have had situations where we've had people that have refused to let us talk to the seller. We can't do that stuff. We have to have proof this seller really wants to sell.
Right.
I know you're looking shocked, but we see a lot of wild stuff.
Wow.
Has
And then,
anybody?
so who do they think is going to sell the house?
Who do
they think is going to come in to sign?
Well,
the seller
I
has to
mean,
come in to sign.
the seller has to sign, right? But most of the time they're signing with a notary. They're not coming to a physical office. And so our notaries are trained, we only use approved notaries nationwide, and they are trained to look for this stuff too and verify identification. We've had people say, oh, I forgot my ID. Can I fax it to the office after the fact? Nope. Dead deal. We need to make sure that seller is intending to sell the property.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Has anybody, I'm curious, has anybody been in a situation where you've heard about vacant land fraud lately? Have you been in a transaction where anything like this has happened?
Yeah,
Drop
let
it in
us
the
know.
comments. Let us know.
Let us know. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing, I've gotten some requests lately for people are wanting more data on foreclosures, notice of default, notice of trustee sale, all that kind of stuff, which is great because you've got the motivation exists. Obviously, if there's a foreclosure that's listed, right? We have data around all kinds of stuff like that that's recorded, and then some pre-foreclosure stuff as well. But with that being said, when you do have attorneys involved, you need to be, if you're going seller direct, you need to be cognizant of sometimes those situations require more time because we are at the court's mercy, when it comes to the attorney stuff. And there's only so much we can do if there's attorneys involved.
Yeah.
So give yourself more time, set the right expectations. Don't overpromise when it comes to the sellers because they're already in a tough spot, right? And you're coming in trying to be the hero, not the zero. And if you set the wrong expectations when it comes to anything foreclosure related, probate related, everybody's just going to end up frustrated at the end. And we want to help avoid that.
Absolutely. Those things aren't in the control of the seller. They're not in control with title.
Nope.
There's usually attorneys and courts involved, and those just are like luck of the draw. When it's gonna
Absolutely.
happen. Somebody's sick, so now that gets suspended or prolonged for another 6 weeks because that's the next opening in the court. So
Yeah.
you have to make sure that nobody's expecting for that fund for it to close immediately because they've got a contract on something else.
Yeah. I had a meeting yesterday with somebody and I said, hey, I didn't get the contract we were kind of expecting on Friday. Was everything okay? And he's like, seller went to jail. Well, okay. Might be a little.
I mean, you get to see all of that, right? Seller goes to sale, somebody passes away,
Yeah.
accidents,
Mhm.
comas, like all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Yep.
Any of you have like situations where you've been in a contract and the other party is incarcerated, hospitalized, dies?
mental
What
illness?
happens? Mental
Yeah.
illness. Like what happens then? I think that if you died before the contract, if you executed the contract and then you died, they still sell the house, right? That's the
Usually, yeah.
rule. That's the law.
It depends on the estate though, too, I think.
Okay.
How that plays out. So sometimes it might end up in probate in that particular case. But yes, it doesn't void the contract.
Right.
According if you have a traditional real estate contract.
Death doesn't void a contract. Does incarceration?
I don't know. I have to look that one up. These guys hadn't executed the contract yet.
Oh.
So I was like, hey, I know you've been stoked about this. What's up?
Seller
Sellers
went
in
to
jail. Now I guess sellers were motivated. So they're probably going to get a better price,
Right.
when seller gets out of jail. Yeah, kind of crazy, right?
What a mess. Okay, I'd like to hear your crazy stories.
We want to hear we love the crazy stories. Another thing I'm seeing a lot lately is there's a lot of new investors entering the space. And we
Which is
love that. I love
Come on into our space.
I love the side hustle too, where they're starting out. Hey, this is going to be like a side thing, and then they're going to get a few deals under their belt, and then they're going to, leave their day job and make their play job their full-time job. But with that being said, you got to have the contract stuff figured out. So I just want to point you guys in a direction that we've never talked about here on Title Talk, but I find it very informative. But Jamil has an Instagram, and on that Instagram, there is a link, and Bobby will probably be able to drop it here, where he actually gives you examples of contracts that you're going to need in the space. So your initial purchase contract, your assignment contract, and I just find it really helpful. And I just want to point you guys in the direction of the resources that are available because I'm getting a ton of questions. Now, these are just samples. These are not something we're telling you guys that you need to use verbatim. You ultimately need to talk to a real estate attorney and feel really good about you being protected in every aspect that you are trying to be, and that you have to put your own twist with your attorney's approval on whatever you're doing. But we are getting a lot of people that are coming and they're just not having any contracts and they're asking for advice. So I want to point you guys in the direction of that. I think it's like a SOC link that's like a tiny URL in his Instagram.
Okay. Bobby, can you send them to them? Can you put that in the comments? The link for these contracts?
What did Matt say?
Put the the link to all the contracts. I put the YouTube video explaining all the contracts. You're talking about straight out of Compton, so it's just send them to. You said SOC, right?
No, it's the tiny URL in his
It's shortly.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
And then
It's got lots of resources, but amongst those, what I find really helpful is for those of you who are unlicensed, knowing what contracts you need to have in place is super helpful. And then also just kind of like a framework. And if you are looking for an attorney referral to look everything over once you've built your own, we definitely have resources in that department for you as well. So let us know. You can always email titletalk@fnf.com, and we are happy to connect you.
And you're
with
national,
resources.
so
We
it doesn't
are.
matter what state you're coming in from. She's going to be able to help you.
Yep.
That's great.
And how does everybody follow Rahima that's maybe meeting her for the first time?
Some of you don't follow me. I
Well,
wouldn't know. So my what is my handle, honey? The real Rahima B. The real Rahima B.
because she's not fake.
Because I'm not fake. But why am I the real? Because my first Instagram was Rahima B. And there was a bunch of followers that I didn't believe were real people. So I said, no, I'm not
bots.
interested in that.
We're talking bots again.
Yeah, let's start with an actual account where I get to see how many people are really engaging.
I love
And
that.
if it's really working, and what I'm saying makes any sense and makes anybody, gives anybody information that they're really looking for. So we started again, and my little munchkin, I think she's got me at like 2,700 followers now. 2,700 real followers.
I love it.
Real
This
human
just
beings.
started. I mean, when did you start this?
We
Like
started it just
a month. A month. She got
Mhm.
2,700 followers.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're providing really good content.
Aw,
And
that's
people are
nice.
discovering you. So I love that.
And I kind of just agreed to it because I want to hang out with my kid more. So I was like, yeah, you want to do social media? Sure, whatever you want, just hang out with me.
Mom, do you want to manage my social media?
I think you have to handle your mom's social media.
Oh no, she doesn't want me handling any
No,
of
she
that.
doesn't want you
She knows how to get.
She can do it herself.
Yes,
Okay.
she knows how to. She knows how to
I
do
actually
enough.
asked somebody today, do you know how to DM? And they looked at me like I was speaking in another language, and they're like, of course I do. And I said, okay, good. I don't. That's why I asked. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
That's
but
pretty
yes,
cute.
But if you do DM me, then my daughter asks me, or if you have a question, she asks me the answer, and then I answer it, and she puts it into the DM. So you're still talking to me. You're just talking to me through my daughter.
It's called leverage.
That's love. Yes.
It's love leverage.
Yeah, love leverage.
I think that's really smart. And you guys can follow me if you aren't already at Dina M. Jones on Instagram.
Okay, is that it? Are
Well,
we done?
no, we got to do something
is that?
fun and
Hours so
we
go
got
by so
we got to do
fast.
something wild and wacky at the end. What was the last thing you Googled?
Oh, let's see. What was the last thing I Googled? Please don't be bored. It says here, what was it? Oh, pets and people together.
Aw,
has
what's
gotta be
that about?
This has got to be you. You must have been on my phone. 'Cause I don't think I Googled that. Oh, I Googled the Maasai tribe in Africa.
What's that mean?
Okay, so there's a Maasai. So my parents are born in Africa. My great grandparents are also born in Africa. There's a tribe in Africa that's called the Maasai. They are very tall. They have very long legs. They have very beautiful long faces. They're very notable. When you look at them, you can see, yes, that's from somebody from the Maasai tribe. The reason I Googled it was because just before I got here, I went with my daughter to eat at a Rwanda restaurant, that people from Rwanda have opened. And they have very similar to food to what we eat in Tanzania. In fact, they're even called the same things: mandazi, samosa, kanchumber, matoke, all these foods that we eat.
She's like speaking other languages on this title talk.
That's all in Swahili. And so we went there to eat. And I said, and the owner came out, and his name is Ibrahim. And I said to him, your face is so beautiful. And he says, I'm Maasai. I'm like, you're Maasai. And he goes, yes, I'm Maasai. And so we said it simultaneously. And so I was showing my daughter just how beautiful these people are from this region. And that's the last thing I did.
Well, look, we have some people in the comments that are saying I'm Maasai.
What?
Look at that.
That's amazing. Amazing. You must be gorgeous. I can't wait to meet you. Please follow me on Instagram so I can see you. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
That's the last thing. What was the last thing you Googled?
Mine is not that exciting,
Oh,
but it's kind of interesting. It talks about Californians and other people who've moved to Arizona. So
Oh,
it's a
okay,
census
okay.
thing. And we're talking about where the people that have moved and migrated to Arizona from 2017 to 2001 have come from.
Where did they come from?
So,
2021, 2017 to 2021.
yep,
Okay.
because that's a census data last
Okay.
was published. So, California being the number one place people have come here from.
Does it
Second,
say how many people came?
it does. 63,409.
Do you remember when you had a buyer from California? How excited you were?
Because it's different money, right?
Because
They're
when-
playing in a different.
Because when you as a selling agent would answer the phone and the buyer's agent would say, my clients from California, you'd be like, ding, 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 send the offer. Because it was always cash.
It was higher than you
Higher
needed.
than list. But then you had to deal with Californians who like are, can I get the warranty for this 10-year-old fridge? What difference will it make? It's a 10-year-old fridge. No, I need the warranty. So you had your good and bad, you know, it wasn't all good. It was good and bad.
So top 5: California, Washington, Texas, Colorado, and Illinois.
Okay, nice. Welcome all you people from all
Yeah.
the different states. We're happy to have you.
Yes, we
Bring your
are.
friends and family. Arizona is the best.
We love it here.
Absolutely. I wouldn't go anywhere else. Arizona is the most awesome state in all of the United States. And if any of you argue, don't put it in the comments. No, I'm kidding. If any of you think I'm wrong and you have a better case for your state, let me know why. I'd be interested to know why.
I
'Cause
got one.
This place is awesome.
I got one real fact about why. Out of all the states that have income tax, we have the lowest.
Right? And we have no bad weather. Don't tell me that heat is a bad weather. Heat is just heat.
It just means your electricity bill
Yes.
goes up a little because we just go from one air conditioned place to another.
Exactly. That's all that means. And we have no hurricanes, no tornadoes, no tsunamis, no earthquakes, none of that. That's bad weather. We just have heat. And
Yeah.
it's a dry heat.
And it's pretty.
So
We have
pretty.
sunshine every day.
every day. And you have palm trees in all the windows. Like, guys, this is the place to live. Yeah, this is it. Move to Arizona. Call me.
If you're moving to Arizona, hit
Call
up
me.
Rahima.
I'll hook you up with a nice house.
Or she'll build you one.
There you
From the
go.
ground
I'll build
up.
it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please share this with your friends and family and give Jamil
Give him some love. We love
some
Jamil.
love because he's probably a little nervous about his place here because you're here today.
I don't think he's nervous. I don't think he's nervous at all. But I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening
Yes.
and sending love. It's really nice to hear from you guys. If there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to contact me. You know, you can get me through Instagram. Now I actually have an active account. So DM me. My daughter will give me the message. I will be happy to link up and give you any information I can. Collaborate with you. We are all in this together. There is no competition. There's only collaboration.
Collaboration over
So
competition.
Let's work
Yes.
together and make everybody happy and build everybody's wealth.
Yes. Love it. Yes. Thank you guys so much. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in